All right, everyone. We're on real quick. This is a midweek show, not our usual Friday. We're on. We're chatting with Mike Brown, and you were in a kind of a Senate meeting. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, it was a Senate committee hearing for HB 60, which
mm-hmm,
was the bill to ban vaccine passports.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And just go ahead and lay the story out for us, Mike.
Yeah, so, this session I have gone up to the Capitol to a few different committee hearings, for bills that felt were very important for our freedoms. And vaccine passports was one of the main ones. And there was overwhelming support to ban vaccine passports. And, there were several overflow rooms for previous committee hearings and then for this one. But in most of the committee hearings I've gone to, there's always been some lady that hands out stickers, that say, hey, vote yes on HB 60 or whatever it may be. And I actually have a collection at home. I just keep all the stickers that I've gathered. So this was no different. It was the Senate hearing for HB 60, sitting up there, and before the meeting started, somebody had, the stickers. So I grabbed a couple, put one on my hat and on my shirt. And then before the meeting, the usher came over and said, you can't have stickers. And I thought that was weird because this was new to me. They've never done.
Oh, we lost your sound for a second, Mike. Let's see where we're at.
So I said, okay, why not? And I took the sticker off my hat and I put it on the back of my phone, and I had one on my leg. And there was even a UHP officer who I asked. I said, well, what's the law that says you can't have stickers or signs or anything? He said, well, whatever the chairperson says is same as law. So I just thought, okay, that's a new one.
So the
So,
chairperson can make up laws on the fly, just like that.
yeah,
Okay.
apparently, yeah, and that's literally what the officer said. And I was like, okay. So anyway, this was all before the meeting, and so I still had the sticker just on the back of my phone. And I was just holding up, filming, and I had the sticker on the phone. But I have other stickers on I had another sticker on my phone just because people put stickers on phones anyway. So anyway, I didn't think that was a huge deal. So that was all before the meeting. I was questioning their whole stance on that. And so the meeting hadn't started yet, but I noticed that the UHP officer and this usher were up at the front talking to the chair, which was Senator McKay. I could tell they were, commiserating. And then the meeting started, and Senator McKay immediately said, just want to set the rules, folks, that, you can't have stickers, signs, blah, blah, blah. He said, we have some people that aren't complying, and we're going to give a 5-minute recess to allow them to comply. And so he hit the gavel, and then immediately I heard the usher right by me say, take down your sticker, and or give me your sticker or something like that. And so I took it off my phone, and I had one on my pant leg. So I gave the one to him, and then he said, how about your other one? I said, I'll just put that under my leg because, I was just going to keep it. But anyway, so this is what happened. This was during the recess. The whole reason Senator McKay gave the recess was to basically for me to give up my sticker, which I did. But then somebody questioned the usher and said, well, why do you have a Ukraine pin on? Isn't that a political thing? Blah, blah, blah. So he was just kind of questioning as well. And I said, yeah, isn't that political? What's wrong with that? And then immediately the usher motioned for the UHP officer to come over, and the officer, was wanting to take me outside or something. And I said, I'm complying. What's the big deal? Blah, blah, blah. And all that's on video, which a lot of people have seen. But it was at that point where I had complied during the 5-minute window, but that wasn't good enough. And then the officers, literally grabbed me and drugged me out of there, and it was downhill from there. So
What was the name of the individual that was on the chair, giving the orders?
it was Dan McKay, Senator Dan McKay.
Now
Yep.
I watched the video, And the feeling I get is that the good senator did not want to vote on this because the senator did not want to vote no and suffer the repercussions of that later on. And so it felt to me like a delaying tactic, the whole thing.
That's just a gut feeling, you're saying?
That's just a gut feeling I got. I could be wrong. We're going to reach out to the senator and have the senator come on. But what you're saying is that these stickers have been in there before, other circumstances. They allow people to hand out stickers, wear stickers, express themselves. But this one time they didn't. And then they called a recess for it. And then they made a big to-do about it. And then they tossed and in the video they only removed you from the auditorium, right?
Yes, they literally dragged me out, and then as soon as they grabbed me, it made the audience, upset, and people were yelling, what are you doing? Senator McKay, blah blah blah, and then I heard that a couple other people were tossed out after that because of me being dragged out physically.
Well,
so, yeah,
we are going to reach out to McKay, but from what I saw, it looks like representative a representative republic died in there. They wanted to rule on high and didn't want to have to represent what the people wanted. And granted, some people may not want the possibility for a vaccine passport, or may want the possibility for a vaccine passport, but it's the way they went about it. And I think, to me, it felt like a delaying tactic.
What was there a vote? I mean, did they eventually vote and do anything about it?
Yeah, they did eventually vote, and it did actually pass that Senate hearing narrowly. But then, talk about delay tactics. It was supposed to go to the Senate. It had already passed the House. Now it was supposed to go to the Senate, and they delayed it from even getting a vote. So they just waited it out till the session ended, and it didn't even get a chance to be voted on. So it was obvious from the get-go that the leaders, the representatives, did not want this bill passed, even though the people overwhelmingly wanted it. And there were shenanigans all through the whole process of trying to substitute the bill, to gut it, and all sorts of things. But it did pass this committee that I was tossed out of, but ultimately they wouldn't even allow it to be voted on in the Senate. So it was pretty pathetic, to be honest. So
it's what it feels like. And honestly, we need to reach out to all these senators and say, hey, you let this stall in there. Your only job is to represent the people. That is it. That's your only job.
Well, I was kind of shocked when I heard this guy say, "We will not test the metal of the chair." I mean, that sounded so authoritarian that I thought I was like watching an episode of like Rome or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing was just, it was just unreal. And the thing is, I had the sticker, but then somebody said, "Oh, it's because of your shirt." And even one of the UHP officers, when I was, forced to the floor out in the hallway, somebody was filming saying, "Well, what did he do?" And the officer said, "Oh, it's because of his shirt." And my shirt literally said, "We the people," on the front.
It said,
on the back, it had the preamble of the Constitution with the Statue of Liberty.
It said, "We the people." It's time. I'm telling you, it's time. Incumbents out. We need to start tossing them until they recognize that they're supposed to represent us.
Well, is Dan McKay, has he been in office for a long time?
I don't know how long. I guess he was in the House before the Senate, but unfortunately nobody is running against him this time. He's up for election. Nobody's running against him.
Are you serious? Nobody.
Yeah. So, yeah. And he and Senator Adams gave me lip service saying, they felt bad, and they, asked the prosecutor to drop the charges, because I was literally given a citation for disrupting a meeting. And the charges have not been dropped, and it's been 3 weeks. So, and they're not returning my messages now. So initially they gave, lip service, but talks cheap. Nothing's happened yet. So it's pretty pathetic. And like you said, that was the whole feeling. When this happened, it was like, you got to be kidding me. And we the people, and they're arguing over it was a stupid sticker or my "We the People" shirt. It's like, how pathetic is that? If we literally can't wear, an American shirt in in our capital, then our state is beyond hope. I'm sorry, our country, let alone the country, but Utah, all is not well in Zion if we can't do that. I mean, it's just pathetic.
It looks like he's from Riverton.
Draper.
He's been in office since 2019.
So that's not really that long.
No, but I guess you committed the ultimate crime of
wearing a sticker,
speaking your voice in the Duma. I guess we should start calling it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just, because I knew there wasn't a rule, and there is no. They actually have written rules for the Senate and the House.
Mm-hmm.
And the only written rule that says you can't have a sign is in the House gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Even that doesn't say anything about stickers. And there is no written rule in the Senate.
What about a
no
T-shirt?
stickers. So I knew there was no rule. They were blatantly violating their own rules.
Well, don't the Black Lives Matters people like bust into the Capitol building with signs all the time?
They don't count. They don't get prosecuted.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just a middle-aged white guy, so I'm like the worst.
You don't carry ACLU protections
to have any real rights these days. So
you need ACLU protections to get away with stuff. But no, nobody's running against McKay, huh? He's coming out of Riverton.
I hope there's a Democrat people can vote for. Sad to say it, but
yeah, it looks like they just changed his to the 52nd district. Yeah, you know what? That'd be perfect. Vote him out and vote in a dang Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, at least somebody that you can trust what they say, and they actually follow their beliefs.
Yeah, he's the 11th district. Yeah, well, no, I just don't like. I don't care if you're a representative and you want to vote away with your conscience and it goes against the people, I think you should vote that way. I think you should, and then suffer whatever consequences come from it, but you should vote your conscience.
Yeah. That's kind of nasty how they dealt with it, man.
But to hide it and to delay it underneath to me it felt like he's sitting up there surveying the auditorium, and he says, "Oh, there's a sticker, that guy. Send the usher after him, and we'll hold a recess. That'll buy me, 10 minutes."
Well, you know what? There might have been a that guy persona for Mike. Mike, this is not the first time you were asked to leave one of these types of events, though, correct?
No, it was. I've never been asked to leave.
There wasn't like a student or a teacher meeting or something like that previously that you were at. I could have swore there was some news article about a previous meeting.
I at the Davis School Board, I spoke at a few meetings, and before one of the meetings, some of the moms and I moved our chairs within 3 feet because they had them spaced 3 feet, and the school board president threatened to throw me out if I didn't move the chairs back.
Why'd they have them spaced 3 feet?
No, that's a whole other issue. But no, I've never been thrown out of a meeting. So he threatened it, but no, I've never been.
Was it they didn't have a 6-foot ruler, so they went with the old dance yardstick that they had on hand? What was the 3 feet deal?
Your guess is as good as mine. So yeah, it was the epitome of stupid. So
I'm telling you.
But I was not thrown out of the meeting. And then I was already signed up for public comment, and in my comment I brought up the fact that he threatened me and these moms. I brought that up because I'm like, people that are watching need to know what just happened with the school board president. And then when I brought that up, he threatened to throw me out if I didn't stay on my topic. So that's a whole other issue of overreach of power.
Where do you live, Mike? General area. Do you live in the Salt Lake Valley?
No, I'm in Davis County. So
okay.
So this was the Davis County School Board. This was last summer.
See, I've got a new notion in my mind. Can we have a general vote to throw Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo out of the state?
That's right. I know.
Can we just
Seriously.
toss them out?
You
And
know,
then we could have some logical representation here.
or maybe Mike's just like one of those charismatic type individuals that people want to throw out of
Yeah.
meetings. I mean, do you get
Well,
that a
the
lot,
thing is,
Mike?
My problem is I was questioning the stupidity on both of these things, and they didn't like to hear that.
Well, you're a
Like
subject.
with the school board president, he said we had to move our, and I asked him why, and he said, well, if you come into our room, you have to follow our rules.
Oh, there
And I
seems to
said-
be a lot of
And
that.
I said, is this your room? And that's when he said, I'm going to have you thrown out if you don't move the chair. I mean, total authoritarian response.
It's time for us to wrestle control back. We really need to. We need to wrestle control back.
I think we're past that point.
Yeah, I
Jared.
think you're right. Yeah, I do. So
I think we're
back
just holding on to the
back
the
to
chair now.
throwing the I-15 corridor out. We can make, we can have the state of Utah, and the other one can be the state of Zion. We'll let them pick which one they want to be, and we'll be the other. I don't care what the name is. I'm just tired of dealing with morons.
So Mike, if they don't throw these charges out, what could happen to you?
Yeah.
Well, it's a Class B misdemeanor, so, and they haven't even said what fine or anything there is with that. So I'm still holding out that somehow the charges will be dropped, but as of now, it's just a lot of lip service and no action. So
Have you met with the prosecutor at all or anything?
I have an attorney that's been talking to him, and he's supposedly working on it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's giving me heartburn every time I watch anything to do with government, including school boards, where they literally act like, it takes you back to watching the goddamn Duma in the 80s.
Do you do these a lot, Mike? I mean, do you go to these meetings often, more often than most?
Possibly. I had never gone to a school board meeting in my life until 2 years ago, and it was all the craziness with the lockdowns and everything that actually woke a bunch of parents up, and I wasn't the only one going to these board meetings. So, and I've spoken with public comment at, I think, 4 of them now, and that was the first in my life. But I've gone to different committee meetings, in past years over different things. This year I've gone to more just because there's been a lot of huge items that have come up, with election integrity and with, the vaccine passport, and there's just been a lot of bigger issues. And so I've been going as much as I can because they need people there to show support. And like I said, the vaccine passport one, previous one I went to, they had 4 overflow rooms. This one, they had 5 overflow rooms. I happened to be there early enough to be, in the main room. But so definitely this year I've gone more than usual.
Mm.
And you were talking about your business career here, and it kind of correlates to the political science of today's world. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what you do day to day?
Yeah, so I helped to found a company called Raindrop Texting. So we do text message marketing for conservative organizations, conservative candidates. The whole reason being is because the left has utilized, technology very well for years, and especially texting. When Obama first ran, he had a famous fundraiser where he raised millions of dollars for his campaign because he had an event with George Clooney, and he did that all via texting. And so I helped start this company to give the right the same type of tools so we can beat the left at their own game. And, back when we started 6 years ago, it's still kind of a new concept to a lot of conservative groups, even large, national ones. But now it's starting to catch on more. So I help conservatives use text message marketing to help engage with their supporters or their customers, and to also increase donations and get feedback and all that. So yeah, me and some other like-minded, conservatives who are involved with grassroots, groups over the years, we founded this company for that purpose. So yeah, that's what I do.
I think that's a big step for the conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, for the conservative audience to
Taking him out of the rotary phone into the screen phone era.
Well, I mean, Democrats have been doing it for a while.
They have.
They always are a little bit ahead of us technologically.
You could argue that's part of how Trump won, because he hit the Twitter.
Well,
It's
Trump
the first time a Republican touched Twitter with
Trump
any
is a
success.
Democrat. You just don't know it.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point. Well,
he's my favorite Democrat.
Trump is a logical Democrat. He hasn't gone, full communist yet.
Exactly.
It's kind of absurd that they make a law on the fly that you cannot have the stickers in there, and then they enforce it. And it sounds like the stickers were there in other assemblies you've been to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've never brought a sticker myself. Like I said, I'm getting them from a little old lady there that has a sheet of them. So it's not me bringing the dang stickers.
So she just put the sticker
it's
on.
Not
you.
a new concept at all.
And then your shirt, the highway patrolman, he mentioned something about your shirt while he had you on the ground.
Yeah, because a friend who was in there, she came out and was videoing, the whole thing while I was being assaulted.
Uh-huh.
And she asked, what did he do? And he said on camera, oh, it's because of his shirt.
So this, I would like to tell this trooper, I hope he watches this, you're the reason why the conservatives have turned away from law enforcement.
But what choice does this trooper have? I mean,
to uphold the Constitution he took an oath to. Period. End of discussion.
That's the thing. I mean, and believe me, this has been the case the last 2 years with all the COVID stuff. Nobody wants to step up and take any responsibility.
That's right.
It's blaming everybody else. The sheriff blames the governor.
Mm-hmm.
Governor blames the president. Nobody wants to take responsibility. So yeah, the highway patrol, they were taking orders from, I don't know, McKay or the usher. But you're right.
And that's where they turn around and they say, that's an unconstitutional order you're giving me. Are you sure you want to? They just have to say, are you sure you want to continue down this track? Yeah, because I'm going to be open with this, and I'm going to type it up in my report that you gave me an unconstitutional order. And that's it. End of discussion. And the jackboot trooper, I mean, honestly, he needs to quit. He needs to go find himself something in the service industry, like maybe pushing buttons at McDonald's or flipping a burger, because he's not qualified to carry a weapon for me.
That's the thing. I mean, what's the whole point of having an oath if nobody's going to follow it? I mean, honestly, it's the stupidest thing. I mean, and they held me in detention down in the basement they literally carried me down there, held me in detention for an hour. And the whole time I was just like, guys, I'm normally on your side. Why are you not following your oath? And they're down there. I hear them on the phone. They're trying to figure out what to charge me with. On the phone, I heard them say, it was because of your shirt, or was it the shirt, or was it the sticker? And I mean, it was just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, what's the point of taking an oath to the Constitution if you're not going to follow it? I mean, it's the stupidest thing.
That's right.
Well, Jared, isn't it also, I'm going to say this, if there's no one running against this guy, the people just let this happen. I mean,
that's right.
It's their fault.
Let's throw where he represents out of the state. Let's give him to Colorado, California. They can have like a little satellite state where they can, ruin wherever they are.
It's sad because I'm sure there's a lot of decent people over there, but
sure. And
how much can you let the Republic down by allowing these stormtroopers to just rule us? I can't believe that there's no one running against this guy. It's hard to believe. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, it partly could be just because, this happened at the end of the session, and the filing deadline was right around the same time. And so I'm sure now, if there was more time to file and run, there would be somebody that would step up, after this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody obviously was in that position in time for when this happened. And I think Senator McKay, he's been good on a lot of things, but on this, I mean, the way he just acted in that Senate meeting. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even mention this. Like when he started, he said, "Well, we have some rules," and he threw out no sign stickers, which isn't a rule. But then he said, "You can flip me off, but you can't flip off any of the other committee members." So he's being just, trying to be funny, I guess. Like, okay, yeah, I'll flip you off, and we'll see what really happens, right? And so he says this whole little spiel, gives hits the gavel, and afterward in a town hall. There was a town hall that he actually did like a week later, and people were questioning him, and he actually did admit that there wasn't a Senate rule. Like he admitted that on tape, and he said that the reason I gave the recess was to allow people to comply, and that there would be a lesser charge if they did anything.
So to
Which is
comply
very
with my
ironic,
made up
'cause
rules.
That's when I was given the charge. I was given a charge for disrupting a meeting during the recess of the meeting that was recessed for the purpose of me complying, which I did. So the whole thing's ridiculous, and that's why it should be dropped. But 3 weeks later, nothing's happened, and McKay and Senator Adams won't return my messages. So,
Well, we're going to reach out to them. We're going to try to get them on it. They've got to try to justify themselves. And yeah, my level of give a crap has gone way up on this, because you know what? They're supposed to represent us, and that's it.
well, and the thing is, they could, I'm willing to go with them to, make amends. I mean, if they really wanted to make this a positive, they could publicly apologize, and then even have an event where they wore "We the People" shirts and just said, "Oh, we stand with the people." They could really turn it around and make it a positive. But
I just think you went too far. You expect them. You just said they could wear "We the People" shirts. How far do you want to push this? I mean,
We're gonna get them a "We the Rulers" shirt.
that's insane. Yeah, there we go.
"We the Masters."
Yeah, kneel before me,
But
peasant.
The marketing guy, I'm like, guys, they could totally turn this around and make it a positive if they wanted to, as politicians, and have favor with the public, because the public is not happy over what happened. If they really cared about what the public felt over this, they could just turn it into a positive. And that's why I said, hey, let's make it a positive thing and say, yes, obviously we stand with the people. But anyway, they're not even doing that. It's just, they're just hoping it goes away, I guess. I don't know what to say.
Do you think the lady that put the sticker on you was a plant?
Ooh,
No, not at all.
that's going deep in conspiracy land. Like he ordered the stickers, had his neighbor stand out there for $20, handing stickers out. Find one in the crowd so he could put down a recess so he could delay. Yeah, that's going deep in conspiracy.
It's just this vaccine passport thing has to go away. I'm so shocked that we're not just going to railroad some sort of blockade for this thing, because it's a scary endeavor if we can't get legislation to prevent something like that. I'm actually kind of worried.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, it should be a no-brainer that we don't discriminate against people just because they haven't gotten a shot. I mean, it's the stupidest thing. I mean, it should be obvious. If you've studied anything with civil rights, in world history, and the fact that
Nuremberg
our legislators
Code
will not pass this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, there are HIPAA laws, but it doesn't seem like they apply to COVID. It's weird.
Well, they didn't, though. I heard that the administration totally backed off making government employees get the shot. So
yes, they did.
they carried that one on as long as they could until it looked like they were going to lose in court. But how many people went and got the shot out of fear?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we are dealing with corrupt government. That is where we are. We are at the point where government has crossed a Rubicon.
Well, I would say the people are to blame if they're not going to step up to the plates. I went to my precinct meeting to, see who was going to be the state delegate. I ended up the state delegate, right? Now, I couldn't believe the poor turnout. And here we're seeing more repercussions of poor turnout.
Well, this could also be a sign of the government's gone too far. How many of us feel handicapped? How many of us just every year, this time of year, we're looking at it, all right, it's tax season, time to get bent over a rail. How many of us think that we have any voice in government? State government, I feel out of the voice.
I'm just waiting
Let
to hear how
alone-
high I have to jump. That's
Let
it.
alone any federal government. I've got no voice. They steal your money and then they spend it on, if not making a virus in China, then they spend it on studying how long rats' tails are if they grow up near, a AA battery. They're wasting our, or the best, they send our money to Pakistan to do transgender studies in Pakistan. Those mother flowers took our money and sent it to Pakistan, a place where I'm sure being transgender is kind of frowned upon.
If it wasn't real, it'd be a comedy show.
It's I'm telling you, all it is a wash it. I guarantee that money went over there, got scrubbed a bit, and went right back to someone else's pocket. Because there is no value in what they're spending our money on. I don't know. I still think I would like to build a mini guillotine and make myself a salad every night on this show. Just sit and chop carrots and cucumbers.
Make your point, Jared.
But yeah, that's why I think people don't show up anymore. I think they're checking out. Just like in Russia, they pretend to pay us, we pretend to work. Anyways, sorry to
We digress.
yeah.
Crazy world. I know. Yeah, but no, ultimately that's when this happened, I just, was in such shock and just thought, wow, this is happening here in Utah, and things are just going downhill fast. It's just pretty sad. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people that are outraged about this happening. But what does that mean? What's really going to come from it? I don't know. As of now, I'm a criminal for either a sticker or a shirt, and what's going to change?
I have you considered reaching out to the Republican Party, Mike?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't. I mean, there were several liberty groups. There were probably like 20 that wrote a letter on my behalf to all the leadership, demanding an apology and that the charges are dropped. And I mean, this was all the top, freedom-loving groups in the state. But nothing's happened there. So,
yeah, I think, reach out to the Republican Party. That's a good idea. I'm glad liberty groups are showing up on your side. I don't know. This just feels to me like, I don't know. Maybe McKay just felt safe enough and I hate to throw it all on him, but he's the one who came up with that rule on the fly.
Well, and even then, he's been deflecting so much. He's even on tape after the meeting. There was some people there that were asking him questions on camera too, and he was saying, "Yeah, I was surprised that there were these rules too." And so he was blaming the UHP, and
So he's trying to say they did it.
Yeah, like he's all over the map, like saying, "Oh, they were given to me, and I was surprised." Blah blah blah. By the rules, and so. Like I said, it's like all the COVID stuff the last 2 years. Like nobody wants to take any responsibility for anything. It's just blame the other guy. That's
yeah. Why would
what's
they want
happening.
to? Why would they want to take responsibility over the destruction of an economy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, McKay did apologize to me, personally, and said he asked that the charges be dropped. But that's it. Not, great, but it still hasn't happened.
So,
And I found out later that actually he helped get a presidential pardon for somebody. So my thought was, well, if he can help get a presidential pardon, he can sure help little old Mike Brown, right, get his charges dropped. So anyway, it's just very frustrating to say the least.
So McKay initiated the circumstance and then apologized to you after that circumstance involved a conclusion of showing the colors of the highway patrol.
But he did say there was a higher authority telling him to do it.
And then he said, I'm sorry afterwards. And is that law still in place? Did they write it on the fly and put it in place? Was it,
No,
voted on?
there's
and,
no well, that's the thing. There's no actual statute. I mean, in
So-
Utah code, yeah, what's the point of having a code if it's not followed, And there's actual statutes for the Senate meetings and the House meetings, and they weren't following them. They were making up their own stuff. So, yeah. So anyway, what's going to happen next session? I mean, they'll try to do the same thing unless enough people voice their opinion that that's not right.
I want to see everyone show up with a sticker on. I don't care if it's a garbage pail kid sticker. Show up. Everyone show up with a sticker on.
What did the sticker say again, Mike?
It said yes on HB 60 and had a check mark.
Okay.
Very, very controversial. I mean, threatening, very threatening, I tell you. And we the people, oh boy.
Well, how
don't you dare, show those words. Those are fighting words, I guess. So
don't you know you're only supposed to wear like a gray jumpsuit?
Oh yeah, the whole thing's just asinine. I mean,
it
honestly,
is.
It's like, people, come on, over a stupid sticker, really?
It's out of hand.
Unreal.
I hope this doesn't destroy your life. I hope they drop the charges, and I hope this senator is willing to come on the show and talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to him. Hey, and I've said harsh words to him, and I'll say him on the show too, but he's got to come on. We got to hold him to account.
And there's always two sides to a story. Maybe he has a side worth listening to, and
maybe he does.
And I think I'm willing to hear him out.
Yeah.
But boy, this is going to be a tough one. For
I think we ought to ask
out
our local senator too. Ask him what he thinks about it.
Good idea.
Yeah. The problem now is that this was near the end of the session. The session's over. They're all campaigning now, and they're just trying to move on.
I know. That's how we're going to get our local senator on.
There you go.
I don't think our local senator's running again, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is he? Okay. Yeah, and that's how we'll get him on, and we'll ask him about it. And we're cordial with him. He's a decent guy, and he's got. I mean,
he likes to talk.
We've got a bit of competition going on out here for his seat. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. My favorite founding father is George Washington. I'm wearing his battle flag hat right now.
Mm-hmm.
And his motto was deeds, not words. I mean, ultimately, talk is cheap. What do you do? Like for elected representatives, what are you doing? What have you voted on? A lot of them, that's why they're politicians. They can talk a good game, but at the end of the day, what are they actually doing? So deeds, not words. And that's, like I said, Senator McKay, he said some things, but until the charges are dropped and, ultimately a public apology is what I originally asked for as well. I think that's warranted in this case. Until those two things happen, talk's cheap, deeds, not words.
Well, and let me pose this. The public apology isn't just for you. He went into our building. This is the people's building, and he was there as a representative for the people. And he made up laws or directed laws on the fly, or regulations or rules, whatever. He directed them on the fly, and then held a recess, had someone tossed, had that person arrested and charged, all on the fly, all bearing responsibilities that he does not carry. And that he needs to apologize to everyone for that. We don't need a dictatorial fascist government.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I just happen to be the guy to take the slings and arrows, that day, but I represent we the people ultimately, and that's why so many people are upset, because if they can do that to me, they can do it to anybody, and they will if it's not stopped now.
Yeah, and they'll continue to do it. We grew too fat and happy in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah, more people need to wake up and get involved and just realize that, just because somebody is nice doesn't mean they're protecting your liberties.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
People are going to sweet talk you. That's how they get elected. But you gotta look at what they're actually doing, and will they really stand for our freedoms, and do they actually care about the oath that they've taken? Does that mean anything, or is that just a thing to check off to get in office?
Yeah. Yeah. And to the highway patrolman, maybe you should pursue a job in dog catching. That'll let you wear a uniform and a badge still. And I don't care. I know I'm offensive on this, but I hold law enforcement to a higher standard than everyone else. I do, because we've given you the responsibility of carrying a gun in our defense. And if you're corrupt, if you're broken, and if you forget your oaths, get out. Period. End of discussion. You're giving the rest of the law enforcement a bad name. There's a reason the conservatives have pulled away from supporting the law enforcement. That's because over the last couple of years, law enforcement has shown their colors to be, we are jackboot thugs.
And I'd like to know what law they were enforcing that day, because obviously there was no law on the books about what I was supposedly doing.
Sounds like they were looking for that law while they were in the basement holding you captive.
Yeah.
So maybe they found something.
You could say that.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a hard fascist society and then soft fascism. Now, with soft fascism, you have so many laws, like a whole library worth of laws. You'll eventually find something on somebody. But with hard fascism, it's just like, do as I say, and they go do that.
It's a good point.
And we're definitely approaching the soft fascism.
Oh no,
state.
we're in soft fascism. Do you know how many laws there are on the books?
I can't count that high.
Do you know how many books there are?
Well,
That's
even just
soft.
in Utah this session, they had 1,000 bills that were proposed, and I think 500 were passed. I mean, that's wow. Just this year.
So and right now there is just someone out there waiting to slap you with a new law, to give you a fine for a new law, something that was legal 3 months ago. You're going to find out the hard way that it's not legal anymore. Well, it's not our responsibility to tell you. Yeah, but it's maybe your responsibility to be logical and honest and forthright when you write laws.
Yeah, and how about the laws that actually govern the meetings? Why don't they follow those? That would be good.
Yeah. How would it be? How would it be? I don't know. There are. We've chatted to a few of our state senators up there and our state representatives, and I've enjoyed most of the conversations. But
we do have a lot of good ones.
Yeah, we do.
But the bad ones, man, let's spotlight them.
I think the good ones need to start holding the bad ones to account. Call them out on the floor. And it doesn't matter. They've got to quit calling them out just if they're in the other party. They've got to call them out for actions, not party.
Well, the thing is, we're in Utah, so they're all Republicans. The ones that have been taking away our liberties. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's definitely not, because in Utah, a lot of Democrats, if they want to actually get elected, they have to run as a Republican. So, but the ones that did this to me, the ones that wouldn't ban vaccine passports, they're Republican, and the Republican Party needs to, actually follow its platform and uphold its beliefs.
Values,
So it's been Republicans that have done this to us.
Maybe it's time we start talking to the party.
Well, I'll say this, Mike. I know you don't have any political intentions, but if you did, I'd vote for you, man.
Yeah. You don't happen to live in his district, do you?
Nope, I don't. Nope, I'm up north, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. So just gotta keep fighting. So
good. And please reach out to us if there's anything else that goes on. Any updates.
Definitely, if there's an update, I'll let you know.
And you've got an open invite back on the show to update us, and here's an update for McKay and all the other senators, if you've got a meet, and the highway patrolman. If you've got a means to justify this, please come on and justify it.
I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah, please do. We've
Yep,
had quite
definitely.
we've had quite a few people watching, but no comments come through. I guess people didn't have any questions for you.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, they come in later. Friend of the show, Katie, she'll have some comments about it, I'm sure. But she comes from
Okay,
she
good.
comes from the Democrat left, and it's always good to read her comments because it gives you perspective,
Challenges you.
instead of the echo
Yep.
chamber.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
We the people, that means all of us.
that's
So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Mike, thanks for coming on. Again, open invite. We're going to reach out to Senator McKay and everyone else, ask him to come on and justify this, because this was a big deal. This was shutting out the voice of the people he's supposed to represent.
And if you're going to run, reach out to Mike. Ask for his services. Those text messages are valuable. That is a very technological service and can probably yield you quite a many vote.
Yeah, shout out the name of your company again. Plug your stuff.
it's raindrop texting. So raindroptext.com. Appreciate it.
Raindroptext.com. All right, we're going to throw that into the show notes also.
Awesome.
Yeah, get you out there, because again,
Your success is our
Yeah.
success in a way.
that's funny. McKay might be using your services.
Well, if he had an opponent, maybe, but
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, in Utah, the Republicans don't have to work very hard, and maybe that's one of the issues. They need to work hard.
Yeah.
They need to earn it, And I'm serious. After this last 3 years, every time I talk about politics, I'm like, it's time to get out, to vote incumbents out, just to get rid of them wholesale. Just, which is sad. There's a lot of incumbents I like, but our government is running roughshod, and we need to make them. We don't have many options short of violence to tell them that you work for us, except for voting them out.
I hear you.
And that's
And
it.
that's
And
partly, these committee meetings, that's partly why they have them, is, give the public a chance to voice our feelings, and they're even trying to squash that. So it's just
Yep.
not a good place to be.
so you had a sticker that said yes on HB 60, but if you'd have stood up and said yes, please vote yes on HB 60, you'd have been fine.
Maybe, yeah,
Just saying-
if I had an opposite one, yeah.
I
Who
guess
knows?
just so long as the First Amendment isn't allowed in our government offices,
Yeah,
I
heaven
don't know.
forbid. I know.
Well, thanks for coming on,
Yeah.
Mike. I
Thanks, Mike.
appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
If there's anything we can do, or you got an update, feel free to reach out. You got an open invite.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Everyone, this is Mike Brown. Whether you support it or not, it's something that affects everyone.
Our freedoms are in jeopardy.
Yeah. I mean, that's First Amendment in the place where it matters most. So, yeah, let's remember that.